Hey guys, it's Ryan here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're doing our haul video for the month of April. And today we're going to start with stuff that's related to manga that isn't manga, and that is these cute little Spy Family postcards. I got these from AMC when I went to watch the Spy Family movie. So I actually got 4 of them, and that's because it was basically a few days after it had started, and it was kind of like one of the last days of showing at that theater. And there was like a giant pile of these, and there was no one there, so I just grabbed a few. I don't think I took, these from anyone because there was literally no one there. Like, I think it was me, my roommate, and 3 other people in that movie theater watching that movie. And yeah, so I took a few. I guess I took 5 because my roommate also got one, and then these 4. But I mean, yeah, either way, I really like them. I think these are really good for bookmarks as posters, and I love them. I think it's super cute. It just looks great, right? So, yeah, if you went and they didn't give you one of these, I'm sorry, but also maybe you should go check if they have them, because they should. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if every movie theater does, but at least AMC should, right? So, yeah, there you go. That's part number 1. Then, here's a light novel, the only light novel that I got this month, I think. Raven of the Inner Palace. I have been wanting to get this from the get-go since it came out. And I actually thought that this was one of those like Danmei novels, but it's Japanese. It looks like it's not one of those Danmei novels. And sorry, I got it because I had my eye on it from the beginning. And then the other day there was a sale on Better World Books, and this was a pristine, used like new, basically kind of edition. And so I decided to take a gamble on it, and it paid off really nicely. So yeah, there's no damage here. The only thing I don't like about this one is that there's no illustrations. At least I don't see any, which is disappointing, because I know that they exist. And also I know that 7 Seas is willing to put illustrations into books that don't have them, because they do it for Danmei, for the Danmei novels, as far as I understand it, right? So that's pretty disappointing, but it looks good. It looks interesting. I'm very curious about what it's supposed to be about. And I'm looking forward to it, right? So, yeah, there you go. That's manga, or, light novel number 1. Here's Bright Story number 8. I'm slowly chugging along, trying to collect this as best as I can. And slowly but surely succeeding, right? So at this point, I'm over halfway through collecting what is currently out of the series. Literally like 1 book further than half, since there's 14 books out right now. Hopefully another one doesn't come out that soon, because I don't want to fall further and further behind. And I'm very excited about this one because I really want to know who this character is, that one. So yeah, there you go. Not much to say about that. I really love the series. I will collect them afterwards. Here's Pluto number 2. I actually really like this yellow that they use here. There you go. Nothing much to say about this one. I wanted to get book 4 as well this month, but that one was like $18 compared to all of these that were like 10. So I was like, nah, screw that. I'll wait. Yeah, there you go. That's number 3. I like this green as well. Then I got this order from In Stock Trades, I think. Here's Fire Force number 8. I got this for $5 and it's wonderful. There you go. I'm missing number 7, and I should get that next weekend. Yeah, because it's Free Comic Book Day on Saturday, as of when this video comes out. And one of my local stores has a buy 2 get 1 free sale, and they always have Fire Force volumes, so I'll probably get the 7th volume that I'm missing. Then here's Heart Gear number 3. I love the series. Looks great. Oh, that was a bit sus. I love Hilda. Let me see if I can find her again. This character, I like her. The only thing is, I'm actually upset that there's no color pages. That is really disappointing, because this series is great and the color pages look awesome, and they just didn't bother to add them, which is a little bit annoying. Here's Sugumi Project number 4. Slowly chugging along with the series. I feel like I always fall behind and then manage to catch up before the next volume comes out, and then I'm immediately behind again. That's a great picture. But yeah, this series is interesting. It's pretty odd. And I don't really know how to properly explain it. I guess it's like I guess it's almost like The 100, if you guys ever watched that show on the CW. It kind of has that same kind of vibe to it. But I feel like that's insulting to some people. Like, I feel like someone's going to be upset that I called Segumi Project something similar to The 100, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Here's My Dress Up Darling number 11. I did not know that this was coming out this month. And, well, when I saw it at the store, I couldn't resist. So, yeah. I don't know Japanese obsession. And Japanese people's obsession with, like, hot, like, maid things. Well, she's not a maid. She's a nun. I don't understand their obsession with, like, nuns and, like, priestess being hot. But I like it, too. I just don't get it. Here's Steel of the Celestial Shadows number 2. A great series. Amazing. I really like this. It looks so much more realistic than what the series actually looks like. But these illustrations at the beginning here are amazing. Again, no color pages whatsoever here, which is a bit disappointing. But yeah, this story is really, really good. I mean, I have some issues with the premise because it feels very much like this would only happen in like a society that is so against being different, like Japan. But if it was like set in like the Wild West, or, you know, in like revolutionary America, if people had the powers that this guy has in the series, they'd be like amazing, right? Like everyone would want them around. Well, I mean, assuming they got over the, you know, fact that it's magical, and Christians at that time were like crazy, right? But yeah, here's Dinosaur Sanctuary number 4. I thought that this was yellow. It turns out that it's orange, but it's good. I like the color. I have not read this story or this volume, and I can't wait because I really love this series so much. It's wonderful. And then here's the last book I got from my Right Stuff order. So the stuff I got on, sorry, not Right Stuff, in stock trades was these 3 plus this. I'm missing a few volumes in between of Go Go Lose Ranger, but for like $2, I was not going to pass up this volume. So yeah, then we got Black Torch. I got this for $3, which is great. This is by the same guy that did Heart Gear, and this story is wonderful. If you like Bleach, or maybe actually if you like Blue Exorcist, but you want a little bit more kind of like urban fantasy vibes to it, and a little bit more kind of like sci-fi vibes to it, I recommend this series. It's so fun. It's really, really good. And the artwork is, you know, phenomenal, right? So yeah, I recommend it. It's great. Then I got Komi Can't Communicate number 29. We're getting close to 30, and I think in Japan they're at like 37 or something, which is kind of crazy. I do feel like it needs to end soon, but I also don't mind because to me Komi is such a relaxing series that I really don't mind, even if it's kind of ridiculous. But also that's because I don't binge it. If I was binging it, I probably would feel the same way most people feel about Komi. But since I'm not, since I read it, you know, once in a while, I'm perfectly fine with it. Here's Chain Soldier number 7. I really love these covers, but the typography is kind of weird compared to the Japanese one. I think that the Japanese one looks better. And this series is great. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? But it's so fun. It's so enjoyable to read. Here's I'm a Wolf, but my boss is a sheep number 4. This is the last book in the volume, in the series. And I have no clue what happens here. I'm very excited to finish reading it, but it'll probably be a while before I do so. Yeah, just because I have other stuff to read first. Here's Hitomi-chan is Shy with Strangers number 7. This is really cute. I think that this cover is great. The cover for the next volume is crazy. It's so horny compared to like how wholesome this series is, but it's a good series, so I recommend it. There was this line-wide sale or something, I can't remember, from Kodansha. So I got Teppu, My Home Hero, Shape-Shifting Witch's Kiss, The Food Diary of Miss Maid, because I like food manga, Wistoria's Wand and Sword, The Cafe Terrace and Its Goddesses, Full-Time Wife Escapist, which is a series I've seen on Netflix, a live-action series. I'm curious if it's based on that. And Fungus and Iron. I don't know what that actually refers to, but cool. Yeah, so there you go. That's the digital manga. Okay, so that's it for the manga. Let's actually take a little break in between these to show you some other stuff, some miscellaneous things that I got. And that would be this case. And this case had a fountain pen inside of it. a Conklin Durograph in forest green with a stub nib, which is this pen right here. Looks wonderful. I love how it looks. It's a slightly translucent, but with this color, you don't actually see inside, which is good because I've seen pictures and videos reviewing this pen, and I don't like the translucent aspect of it. But it's, I don't know, it's supposed to be some fancy material. I don't really think it's fancy. It feels like plastic, but it looks great. And it was 30 bucks, which is not necessarily affordable, but it's pretty within range for like a mid-level pen, right? Like a kind of something after you get into the hobby, you understand that you like fountain pens. This is kind of in the right price range right there, at least when I got it, right at the $30 mark. Usually it's like 60 bucks. And I couldn't pass it up. I like the stub nib. I think it works well, but I think I've had some issues with it. I think, I don't know if it's called baby's bottom or something. There's like this thing where it kind of has these like hard starts. Is it gonna focus? There we go. It has these hard starts, or it kind of, I guess the outflow of ink is too much for like, you know, the feed and stuff. So it's not perfect, but it's pretty darn great. And I don't use it often. I take my time and try to use it slowly, right? So it's not a big deal, but it's a good pen. I like it. I recommend it. If it's still on sale, you guys should get one, especially in that color specifically. Then I got some Black Series figures. These are Star Wars, you know, action figures. I've never had one before, nor had I ever wanted to get one. However, I usually buy my groceries at Walmart, right? And somehow I ended up having these ads for things that were on clearance pop up. And well, first of all, it was this. This is a Boba Fett from Tython. That's one of my favorite scenes in The Mandalorian, season 2, I think. And well, I got it. I'll show you a picture of what it looks like on my shelf now. And so it was $6, which is a great price. And well, that kind of started me downhill. So I saw another clearance item, and it was this one. And this one is Boba Fett when he comes out of the Sarlacc pit, or after he's been with his what are they called? Sand people. What are they called? Tusken Raiders. This had a credit in it for some reason. I don't understand the point of that. But and also these colors are not correct to the actual figure. These are like a special edition, right? I got it because it was like $4. And then I opened it partially, took out the gaffy stick, which is this piece of wood you see right there, and then put it back in. And I resealed it, and I did a bad job. I don't know if you guys can tell. There's kind of like a little bit of an issue there with how I re-glued it. And it's probably going to stay sealed afterwards. I don't really like having sealed things, but I'm not necessarily going to have two different Boba Fetts on my shelf, you know, displayed. So this one will probably stay in this box until I decide I want to use this one instead of the other one, right? So, yeah, nothing much to this one. I thought it was interesting, and it was like $4. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll take it, right? So, yeah, those are the two Black Series things that I got. I saw that there was something else from the Black Series that I kind of want. So we'll have to see if I get it or not. But yeah, let me scoot back a little bit just so you guys can see more. Let's see, how do I do this? That works, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of like the little, you know, miscellaneous stuff that I got. Yeah, I have more Black Series figures that I want. Actually, I wanted to only buy Mandalorian characters. I've had my eye on buying, you know, Black Series figures before, but I only wanted to buy the Mandalorian, Paz Vizsla, the Armorer, and Cosca Reeves and Bo-Katan, right? I just wanted those 5, but they're never on sale because they're popular. So when I got the Boba Fett one, I was like, okay, this is a problem. This is going to start me down a new rabbit hole of stuff that I want to collect that I shouldn't, because I already have way too many expensive hobbies. But yeah, so that's it for that. Let's actually do the novels first, and then we'll finish off with the comic books. I readjusted. Let's keep going. So I also bought some novels this month, and some books. I usually don't buy, you know, too many novels because when I do, I usually buy them used, and normally I actually prefer reading manga and comics over novels nowadays, just because it's more accessible. It's easier to finish too, and that actually is part of what gives me like enjoyment out of this stuff, right? Like it's the sense of accomplishment of I finished a book, and also, oh, this story is great, right? And manga gives me that 10 times in the same period that it takes me to read one novel, right? So yeah, although I am relatively a fast reader, I've noticed that I read more slowly the older I get, and also the more that I focus on comics and manga compared to normal novels, which is not really a bad thing. It's whatever, but it's kind of an interesting thing to notice, right? So yeah, anyway, let's actually talk about these books and these novels that I got. So in terms of books, normal books, these are nonfiction. These are books on writing. So this one is To Write Well, or Writing to Learn, by William Sincer, who wrote this other book here on writing well. Basically, I just want to figure out how to write better. Like, for an engineer, I think I write pretty well. Most people that are, people that have the same degree as me are pretty bad at writing. And then there's kind of a few of them that are good. I happen to be one of them, at least in my opinion. And so I really want to kind of understand how to write better in terms of like nonfiction, right? And hopefully that helps me with writing better in terms of fiction, right? I think most of this is about, figuring out how to write concisely, and that's meaningful because I kind of am a little bit long-winded, even if I am kind of much better at, sharing my ideas than most people in my field, right? So yeah, and then this one is a nonfiction book about how to write fiction, right? So this is Save the Cat Writes a Novel. This is based on this other book called Save the Cat Write a Script or something. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically about filmmaking and how to write, films and plots and stuff like that. And well, this one is the same idea, but for novels. And so my understanding is that it basically shows you like the hierarchy, or the progression, the way that a story goes from point A to point B to point C in these specific genres, or these specific pre-made things, right? So the whodunit, the rite of passage, the superhero, monster in the house, that type of stuff, right? And then it just shows you a bunch of other stuff afterwards in terms of like how to get around to doing things, right? And it just shows you how to identify plot points and plot progression. And that's pretty meaningful to me because that's kind of like what I struggle with. Like, I don't really write that often, but when I do sit down to write, and usually it's kind of like fan fiction that I will never publish, I kind of get stuck because it's like, okay, how do I make this go from this thing to this other thing, right? But I want to actually try my hand at writing some pulp fiction type short stories. And I think that learning plot lines and how to kind of structure them would be really helpful, right? So that's why I got those two books. I want to get the other William Sincer book, but I have not gotten a chance to do so. I also bought this book. This is The Power of Habit: Why We Do What We Do in Life and Business. This was recommended to me by my dad, and this is kind of like a self-help book, and it's also more or less kind of one of those like business people books that a lot of people end up reading. I'm not necessarily someone that enjoys reading books like that, but my dad recommended it to me, so I felt kind of obligated to buy it. And then secondly, I actually think that some of these things are actually pretty valuable, right? It tells you about like how habits work and why you want to create these habits, and then this like transformation about how to make them work for you, right? Which is good. I think it's interesting and meaningful, and it's something that I struggle with. I have this like, I don't know what to call it, like tryout syndrome, like where I just have like a lot of things that I like to dabble in and nothing that I'm properly invested in, or usually that is the case, right? Since I started this channel, I am properly invested in manga and light novels, and I have been for quite a while, right? But reading is like the one hobby that has been constant forever. Some ebbing and flowing there in terms of like interest at any given time. But I kind of end up doing a lot of other things on the side, right? And well, I haven't been able to do it as much as I used to because of college, right? But I still kind of end up doing that, right? And I want to be able to focus more on my hobbies and be more intent and focused in my habits, right? And habit building and how to make them work. And that directly translates to my interest in getting better hobbies, right? So yeah, or being better about my hobbies, which is why I bought that book. Then in terms of novels here, I got Iron Widow. This is a American novel. It's written by a Chinese author, but It's basically a mecha series, and this author is well known to actually say, you know, this is based on Darling in the Franxx, because she saw that series and she was like, nah, this is bullshit. Why do the female characters not get any agency? And so she decided to make her own version of it, and that's what that is. And I'm very excited about reading it as soon as I watch Darling in the Franxx, right? I want to watch the material that inspired it first, and I do have this idea that I want to make this, like, watch everything that's been made by Trigger Project, but I don't know what to call it properly. I need to workshop that. And then I got this, A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. I really love this author. Her Temeraire series, which is a series about dragon riders in the Napoleonic Wars, is fucking phenomenal. And I've never finished it. I read like 6 out of the 7 books, and I do want to go back to it, right? But these books have been starting to come out in paperback, and they've been really cheap, so I decided to pick up the first one. I do want to at least read 50 pages of it before I decide if I want to buy the next one, because I don't really want to buy 3 books and then decide that I don't like them, right? So I'll have to wait, but I'm very excited about checking it out at some point here soon, I promise. Here's El Borak. This is another of Robert E. Howard's collection from the Del Rey edition, and I'm very excited about this one. This is The Desert Stories. This does not include Western stories. This is only like European, African, Asian type stories. And in terms of this list, I'm basically only missing 3 things. I'm missing Swordwoman and Other Historical Adventures down there. I'm missing The Best of Robert E. Howard 1 and The Best of Robert E. Howard 2, and I think that finishes my collection, which is very exciting. I've been buying these maybe for 2 years at this point now, and I'm very happy that I'm finally near completing this collection, right? So, yeah, now I actually have to start reading it, right? So, that's the biggest hurdle, right? So, yeah, and then let's finish off here with 2 more books. These are 2 out of the 4, actually 5 now, secret projects, right? So here are Tress of the Emerald Sea, which looks great. I really love this cover. And Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving in Medieval England, which is basically Brandon Sanderson's foray into isekai, or like reincarnation fiction, which is very exciting. I'm very much looking forward to this. Whereas this one is more of a fairy tale type story. And there's 2 other ones that are also in this set. However, I do want to say that I don't like that these aren't that similar. Like, this one is basically based exactly on the art that was revealed when he revealed that he was making these. You know, this is more or less exactly the same. Whereas this one is a little bit different, and I don't necessarily think I like this. I like the other cover, but I didn't want to spend, you know, $100 to get the leather-bound edition, so I had to settle for the normal one, right? And these don't have illustrations, but they have these nice end papers here, which are very nice. I like them a lot. So, yeah, I mean, I'm very excited about this. Mostly the Frugal Wizard's Guide, right? But, yeah, so I need to reset this, so I will come back later and do the comic book section, and then we'll be done, right? So I'll see you guys in a bit. Actually, before we reset this, I forgot to talk about the digital books. So I don't remember where I left off last time. Probably somewhere here, I think. I got one of these. I bought book 2. I'm still missing book 3. Bitter Rain and Bitter Twins. That's books 1 and 2. This dinosaur book, which is pretty cool. Asher Merrick stuff from Solomon Ignis. He had a sale last month, I think. Kraken Rider Z, which is very cool. I'm very excited about that one. Sufficiently Advanced Magic. Let's see what else is there. All of these Misty Vixen books, which are pretty cool. I'm curious about this one, Blue Curse. It's a blue werewolf. That's pretty cool. Earth's First Starfighter. That looks cool as well. So, yeah, I don't think. No, I haven't bought any book funnel books lately. Let's see. Nope, same ones as before. So, yeah, that's it for that. Now I will reset and we'll do comic books, and then we'll move on to the next video, right? So I'll see you guys in a sec. Okay, let's finish up with this. So let's start with the stuff that I already read, and then we'll do the other stuff, right? So In terms of stuff that I already read that I got this month, so here's the free Marvel must-haves. These are pretty cool. I recommend you guys check them out if you can get them at your local comic book store, but I think that's the only way to get them, so if you can't, you probably have to get them somewhere else, and they won't be free at that point, right? So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. It's basically 3 different issues randomly that they want to push, and most of the time they end up being pretty good. I mean, in this one, I didn't like it as much as the first one. I only liked the Uncanny Avengers one. The other 2 I was not interested in, but that's because the Daredevil issue and the Captain America issue felt very like steeped in continuity, and I didn't really know what the fuck was going on. Whereas the Uncanny Avengers one was kind of like the start of a series, right? So it's fine. Here's Thundercats number 3. Pretty good stuff. I really like this this cover here, and I'm really enjoying the story. I just feel like it's a bit slow. So yeah, here's Transformers number 7. Jorge Corona is doing the artwork now. Dana Warren Johnson is only doing the writing. And I don't necessarily the change is better or worse than before, but to me personally, there is one thing that I really appreciate, and that is that Jorge Corona is better, or at least I like the way he draws humans better than the way that Daniel Warren Johnson draws them. So that's pretty good for me. But, you know, it might not be the same for other people. It kind of really depends on your taste. I can't say objectively he's bad at drawing people. I just know that I don't like it as much, right? Here's Unnatural Order number 4. This is the end of this series. There is a second series coming later in the year. I liked it. I didn't hate it. I think that there's a lot of potential and interesting stuff here. But given that it didn't really come out month to month, I really have very little recollection of everything, and so the ending didn't hit as hard as before. However, the art style is pretty enjoyable. I like it a lot. It's really weird. The way that humans look, the way that characters look is really weird, but it works really nicely for me, so I like it. I thought it was good. Here's Wonder Woman number 8. I mean, what happens on the cover is what's inside, actually, and I'm happy we're back to the real story. Some of the imagery here was quite beautiful looking, but it's really interesting that it managed to make me uncomfortable because, like, you know, that kind of like Stepford wife aesthetic, or like that kind of like, you know, hot girl tied up thing might be attractive in certain situations, but in the way that it was set up here in this comic, it was deeply uncomfortable. And I really appreciate that from Sam Pierre, who draws beautifully, and from Tom King, that they managed to make this, that, you know, if it was a manga or an anime, it would be like attractive, right? It'd be like fan service, but here it's actually kind of deeply uncomfortable. And I thought that was really interesting. And, you know, maybe it's my perception of, you know, comic books versus manga, or it might actually be that, you know, they did that well. So let me know what you guys think down below, but either way, very good stuff. Out of context though, people might be like, why the heck is this happening? And might feel like it's, you know, attractive, but it's very unsettling inside the book. And we have Penthouse issue number 2. This is I'm undecided. I like some stories. I really hate some of them, and I honestly think that there's a better selection of stories they could have gone with, or at least a better theme that they could have centered around, that would have worked much better for this type of series. And I think I will do a separate video where I actually look over these first 2, you know, books and kind of talk about my expectations and versus what I got, and kind of how, you know, I feel like maybe the expectations I had were much more logical than what they did, and maybe why they didn't do so, right? Because I think that there is a very interesting discussion to be had about that, you know, why they chose the content they chose for this. But I don't see that anyone's had it, so we'll see. But yeah, that's pretty cool stuff, right? So moving on to the stuff that I have not read yet. However, I hope that I'll read it tonight before I do my video tomorrow for the end of the month, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to. Here's Conan the Barbarian number 10. I have not read it, but I love the artwork here. However, Rodriguez is back on the coloring, and I don't like that because he's the reason I didn't really like the last arc that much, and I'm upset that he's back. Which sounds really harsh and crazy. It's not that serious, but I don't like the way he colors stuff. I think it's less enjoyable than the way that Dean White did. So we'll have to see how I feel about it properly once I read it. But you know, off the bat, I'm not excited. Here's Dawn Runner number 2. I love this cover. The artwork here is pretty great too, but I think that sometimes the blocking is really rough. That scene is phenomenal, though. I mean, at least out of context, it looks great. We'll see how I feel about it when I actually read it, though. Here's Dick Tracy #1. This is a relaunch of this old-ass character. And Michael Moressi's writing it, which is partially why I got it, because I like Michael Moressi's work usually. I don't know if it's going to be good or not, though. I might actually drop it. It depends. Here's Ultimate Spider-Man #4. There's a different artist on this one. He doesn't look bad, though, but the guy that normally draws this is much better. Red Sonja #10. Although I think I actually got this last month. I can't remember. I think I did get it last month. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Green Arrow #10. Not much to say here. I really like how they managed to get all of the artists that have worked on Green Arrow before to do parts of this story. I think that's really, really cool. Here's The Forged, continuing on from where we left off last time. I just noticed that this is supposed to look like a menacing face in the background. That's very cool, the two glowing eyes. I don't know what the hell's happening here, but I'm very excited to see where it goes. I love the series there. Here's Blasphemous #2. I really like the style and the size, but I wasn't that impressed with the story last time, so hopefully this time it's better. And then finally, this is a hardcover book that I got from England. Actually, I got it on Blackwell. It's a international bookstore out of England. And this is Druna, the Serpieri collection. This is book 1, which contains these 2 stories, Morbus Gravis and Delta. And, well, this is a science fiction story. It's for adults. If you were around when heavy metal was big, you probably know what this is. And this guy, this artist, is known as the King of Ass. So you can understand why these end pages are like that. And what happens here, let's see, can I do this without getting YouTube to strike me? Maybe. There you go. And this is his earlier work, so it gets better by the end. And this is book 1 out of 6 that there are. There's 1 through 5 and then 0. And this is by Lo Scarabeo, which is the beetle or the scarab, right? And this is an Italian publisher that somehow decided to publish this in English, probably because they already had it available to them thanks to when it was released in heavy metal. However, I don't like that this is up and down instead, like from down up instead of up down. That makes me annoyed because it happens with Mexican manga too, and it's it's just distracting that it's opposite of everything else in my shelf, right? But it is what it is. It's fine. But yeah, so there you go. Those are my comics, and that's it for this month. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about what I bought. Let me know what you bought as well, and what your favorite thing that I bought was, and what your favorite thing that you bought was, right? So let me know down in the comments, and thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys next time.